to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the show with the news, the views, the reviews, the interviews. Making news. Well, no news is good news. That's right. There's no actual news on the Starfighter movie coming out in 2027. And there's no actual news with the Mandalorian Grogu movie coming in about 4 months from now. Still waiting for a next or proper trailer, teaser, whatever they want to call it. That's making news. To more news, check out the AI stories on Star Wars, especially Star Wars AI stories on YouTube. They're amazing. Absolutely. There's some that's half done, some that's a little bit quarter done, some that's full done, not full done, but close to being full done. But check them out. There's one particular one I want you to check out. It's called Beggar's Canyon. I'm going to be giving my opinion on aspects to that particular film that is on YouTube now. Just look up Beggar's Canyon in my views segment coming up. And so really, that is the news. And guess what? This is the views. The views is my story idea that I have with Star Wars. I accept the story for what it is. From start to finish, I always accept it. I'm not being spoon-fed and going, oh, I'll take that. It means I accept the story that's been given, that it's been told, and going on that journey. Whether I like it or not, in certain aspects of Star Wars, I just like it. But anyway, let's get on to the idea today. Now, my idea is actually just giving an opinion to an idea. And I just mentioned in the news, there's a particular AI fan film on YouTube called Beggar's Canyon. I've just got to say, this is, I'll give this like 11 out of 10. How does that make sense? Well, it's that good. Now, I'll give you my thing. The whole greatness to this particular short film, fan short film, that is, it's called Beggar's Canyon, is the way that he or she or they move the camera, the story editing, what they've chosen, and the music, and most of all, the actual story, just the type of story. It is, but it isn't about the Star Wars lore. It's just a great little story. And probably the last, and probably becoming the most popular with a lot of people, is that how good the film looks. Well, for me, the AI is so incredible, you would think it's the actual people, the actual set, the actual whatever. It's amazing. Everything about this particular piece of fan film is amazing. There is also another one from this particular YouTube channel. It's to do with Ewoks. It was a little bit animated, but my goodness, it's great as well. It's the story idea, it's the music, and it's how that person or people move the camera and editing and the story timeline. It's so good. Really, really well done. Amazing. And what I say in the title of this particular episode is that I've got, Beggar's Canyon, Star Wars Beggar's Canyon, the movie world is in trouble. And I'll tell you why. Because if the acceleration of AI is going to be at this level and better, but also coming from fans telling the type of story is not about, George Lucas approved, and it's not about a wild idea. It's just a great story. There's lots of these on YouTube. Now, I am one that loves George Lucas. I think he did amazing things in his lifetime. But yes, this is proof that a Star Wars movie or short film can be made without the approval of George Lucas and still be in the realm of Star Wars. This doesn't go against George Lucas. This is something that fits in that. The whole Star Wars lore is something that was created after that the movie and movies got really popular. People started really getting fixated that it must do this type of thing in the movie. But I think, anyone can tell a Star Wars story if enough desire for the movies is there. You can create your own. Even though all of us may not agree that that's a Star Wars film or not, that is their version of Star Wars. That's the beauty, because Star Wars is a universe. It's a universe. It's a big thing, but you've got to just understand certain things without being a law. That's what I'll say. You've just got to understand Star Wars without being a law, and sort of go with that flow. Now, we saw the likes of, Leslie Headland in The Acolyte, and we saw the likes of Rian Johnson with The Last Jedi really stray away from the Star Wars fans' ideals. And personally, I think the dislike is a bit over the top for these people. But don't get me wrong, I understand the dislike. I just, I thought The Acolyte was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi was good, but not. It was original. I think the biggest warning sign for me in that particular movie was the very first announcement, which was the title, The Last Jedi, because using the word Jedi in another Star Wars episodic cinematic release is a bit taboo, and I thought that was a bit weird. But I sort of enjoyed the actual film for what it was. But, obviously there's lots of things in that film that I would change, but there's lots of things in that film that I'm going on the journey with, so that's what I do. But, and so, looking outside Star Wars, you've got to really just know that interpretation is a point of view. Like a man once said, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a point of view. So the point of view of Star Wars can evolve over time. It doesn't have to be the George Lucas thing. It doesn't have to be the Disney thing. But if there is a story to be told that is good, then tell it. And I think personally, the movie world, this is just going to expand into other types of movies, and it's going to get really intense because people are like the actual movie companies want you to go into the cinema, and which I do too. I think going to the cinema is great, but a lot of people these days want to stay at home and watch it at home, and because it is not feasible to put movies on in streaming services straight away versus putting them in the cinema, and personally goes against the whole experience. But I think, there's still a strong demand for people watching movies at home. And if people are going to turn to YouTube and watching AI-generated fan films like this, which is going to turn into feature length, the movie world is in trouble. They need to really get their act in how to redefine in releasing movies. Not to say that I want you to watch it at home on YouTube or whatever it is, but I just think it's in trouble. And I'm feeling for the movie theaters, and I'm feeling for the movie companies. I'm feeling for creators as well. Like, the creators online are great, but things need to be feasible. And unless you just do things for absolutely free. For example, I have been doing this channel for about 10 years. I've not had much momentum in going up. But for me, I'm the force always. I just keep at it because I love it. But of recent times, you've noticed that I've increased the amount of shows because I've just had a gist to do it. Anyway, so that's a real big extension, confusing type of idea from a view segment. But yeah, just again, watch out for Beggar's Canyon. It's a Star Wars fan film on YouTube. It's amazing. I'll say it again, the movie world is in trouble because it's that good. Yeah. Anyway, so that is my views for this time around. Let's get into reviews. Reviews is something that I have in this room. I gotta do a review on this thing. I got it from The Late Show. That's David Letterman. But this one is a DVD. I think I've shown this many moons ago, but I'll show you again. I Am Your Father. This is about the original actor's journey with Star Wars and how he was really taken out of being the main voice of Darth Vader. I Am Your Father. At the end of this particular feature DVD, he sort of gets to act out a scene, I think, which is not shown on the DVD. It's just for private sort of use, I'd say. But it shows you sort of like the passion. It shows you the explanation, the interpretation of him, and the whole events around the fact that Darth Vader, the actual voice, was going to be from this guy. His name is what's his name? Oh my God, I'm talking about him. And it's David Prowse. David Prowse. He was told that his voice was going to be used in the final cut of Star Wars: A New Hope, but then it was changed to James Earl Jones. And personally, I understand the change. It was just, the James voice versus David's voice suiting the actual character of Darth Vader was a better choice. It was just one of those, unfortunate moments. I feel for David Prowse. But this is a great little DVD. If you can ever have it, it would not be widely available. I don't think many people would have bought this. It's a very sort of short but basic understanding of David Prowse, who played Darth Vader, who was told that his voice was going to be Darth Vader, but it never ended up being. Very interesting. I give this because of the rarity of it, and because it's short, simple, straight to the point. But I'll give this an 8 out of 10. But I would never want to depart from this, as this is a collectible for me, and a collectible for a lot of people out there. But anyway, it's a DVD, proper DVD. See that? These are like relics now. But anyway, that's it. Let's get into that's reviews. Let's get now into interviews. Interviews is any questions that I have technically at the moment that appear in my comment section on the YouTube channel. Please send your comments into the latest video that I have done, and I'll go through them for the next particular episode of The Force Always. Comments that could be questions or comments that is a statement, whatever you like, deemed appropriate for the channel, I'll just keep rocking them. But anyway, our favourite man, Michael from Werribee South, has sent in many questions to see if I can answer. His first question is, what is the idyllic sounding name of the Star Cruiser where you can have a 2-night immersive experience at Walt Disney World, Florida, including lightsaber lessons and a view of space from your cabin? Now, this is sort of an interesting question because I did have to Google this. Now, I can't remember officially, but I think this hotel has been shut down because it was so expensive, like through the roof expensive, if it's the hotel. But the actual hotel was Galactic Star Cruiser. I didn't really pay much attention to it because I thought the advertising material was a little bit corny. I thought the price really put me off, so I was just not that interested in it. It did look good, but way through. I'm talking like more than a 5-star amount to stay in this particular thing. I don't know if it exists anymore. I think it was the one that shut down, but I can't confirm that right now. Anyway, the next question, which is from Michael from Werribee South, which is a part of Melbourne, Australia. It's on the other side of the bridge where they should stay, where Michael should stay. Don't worry, I know him. He's a good guy. So Michael says Arabic is the writing system used to represent what spoken word language that is most commonly referenced language in Star Wars films. Well, it's just the general language. It's a general language for the Star Wars universe as we understand. That's written. That usually seen in written, and that is which is the writing system. So it's written. I don't think there's a spoken version of this. If it is, I've not come across it or been aware of it. Obviously, but yeah, Arabic is it's just the general Star Wars universe written language. There you go. Didn't have to Google that one. Now, let's get into the next question. What actor, this is from Michael from Where We South, what actor was the only performer to earn an acting nomination for an Oscar in a Star Wars film? What actor was the only performer to earn an acting nomination for an Oscar in a Star Wars film? Now, let's just do a live Google. Let me just do a live Google because I have no idea who this is. Let's have a look. I'm going to go and check it out. This is live Google. I should get this show sponsored by Google. That would be good. Oh, yes. Well, this is obvious. This should be obvious for any Star Wars fan. He is an absolute icon. Unfortunately, didn't last in a living way too long, but he still was seen as a Force ghost. Sir Alec Guinness is the answer to that question. That's right, Sir Alec Guinness. What actor was the only performer to earn an acting nomination for an Oscar in a Star Wars film? Sir Alec Guinness. He played the original Obi-Wan Kenobi, mainly in the original trilogy, which is episodes 4, episodes 5, episodes 6. Anyway, the next question from Michael from Where We South. Though she gave it to Obi-Wan shortly before she died, Padme was buried with a good luck charm that had been made by Anakin. It was made from Japer ivory wood, a type of wood from what planet? Now, this is interesting because I remember seeing this thing in The Phantom Menace and thinking they're going to use this as a connection to something, but it wasn't utilized in the storytelling of Star Wars too much. I think there could have been much more about this little piece of connection, this little piece of jewelry type thing. It was made from wood that Anakin gave Padme early on. That would have had more significance. As a story idea, I would have used that a bit more heavily. The only other time we actually saw it was when she was holding it in her hands as an unfortunately passed away Padme in her funeral. That was in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And it was from Tatooine. It was a wood from Tatooine. So Anakin made it from a wood from Tatooine. Probably a bit obvious that, he gave it to her whilst they were on Tatooine. That's where it came from. But anyway, so the next question from Michael from Where We South is the language spoken by the Ewoks is a combination of 2 real-life languages. Okay, let's go to Google. Let's rock Google. We're going to rock Google here. Let me rock Google. I'm going to get Google. I'm going to get Google here, buddy. Google this question. Okay. It's an influence with primary influences being Tibetan and Kalmyk. Tibetan and Kalmyk. That's the actual language, the combination that the Ewoks spoke on Endor. That's something I did not know. Very interesting. Let's get into the next question. In The Phantom Menace, Shmi and Anakin Skywalker were both slaves to what Todorian owner of a second-hand goods store on Tatooine. Well, this is where we saw Anakin for the first time. Little baby Anakin, well, not baby, little Anakin. And that actor who played Anakin, I really feel for that guy. He's gone through the hell of it because of Star Wars, but he is someone I would love to meet. But anyway, it was Watto. That's for me a classic Star Wars character. One of the aliens I probably liked more in Star Wars. Watto is the answer to that. The next question was, in the film, and I've got a copy here. In the film Fanboys 2009 tells the tale of a group of friends who travel across to break into the Skywalker Ranch and steal a copy of Star Wars film before its release. Which Star Wars film? The Phantom Menace. It was, I know, look, just the people who don't like prequels, before the prequels, the hype, the information, before YouTube, before the internet was really, going hard, before iPhones, before Androids, before apps, before social media, lots of Star Wars information. Can you believe this? And I've got videotapes on this because I was obsessed. Of Entertainment Tonight, going behind the scenes on almost every aspect. The excitement was fever pitched. It was amazing. It was fever pitched. Now, I enjoyed the film, but it was the beginning of that period of people disliking what George Lucas had done to Star Wars. A lot of people. I actually enjoy the prequels. I enjoy the sequels. I enjoy the originals. I accept the story for what it was. But the big thing back then was, why did George Lucas steal my childhood when these films came out? But it was the film that was stole. Well, in the film that they were trying to steal in Fanboys, the movie was The Phantom Menace, because it was. And I can tell you also a fun fact. I had a copy of it on videotape. I was going to sell that thing for $100 Australian on videotape. $100. But no one bought it because no one would pay $100 for videotape. But there was a copy out there. It was just out there. That's amazing. Let's get into the next question. In the movie Star Wars, R2-D2 claimed he was a property of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but C-3PO disagreed. Who did C-3PO claim was their former master? Now, I just wanted to double check on this one because I went to Google just to see, and it says Anakin Skywalker. No! Google is wrong. I knew this was Captain Antilles. He was mentioned and sort of seen, I think, in the end of Revenge of the Sith, episode 3. But Google was wrong. It said Anakin Skywalker, unless it was a default answer or something like this, or someone's version of an answer. But no, Captain Antilles was the answer to that question. In the movie Star Wars, R2-D2 claimed he was a property of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but C-3PO disagreed. Who did C-3PO claim was their former master? It was Captain Antilles. Next question from Michael from Werribee South. Just making sure the mic is on. Which Pulp Fiction actor was George Lucas's second choice to play Han Solo and would have been taken the role had Harrison Ford declined it? So, which Pulp Fiction was the choice to play Han Solo? It was actually Christopher Walken. First was Al Pacino. Second was Christopher Walken. If Christopher Walken would have taken over if Harrison Ford walked out, because he was a little bit hesitant, even at that stage, playing that particular role. Not for, not liking the character or whatever, but he was He was actually reading the lines with Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, just to help out, just to sort of do a bit of a readout for George Lucas in trying to see who's going to play Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker then was played by Mark Hamill, and but was read with Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford was just coming out of American Graffiti, a big film for George Lucas before Star Wars, mediocre to today's standards, but he was quite big. And in a way, so yeah, it was going to be Christopher Walken. To the final question for Michael from Werribee South, and you can ask, please, any questions or send any comments by anyone deemed appropriate. A curveful over the Darksaber and control of Mandalore sparked what imperial genocide with a name similar to a horror franchise? It was the Great Purge. That's the answer to that question. And right there, we'll just leave it there, as we've had a quite lengthy episode because of Michael's extensive questions. Anyway, until next time, my friends, keep rocking.